What's good, YouTube? It's your boy TSO Sage here with my brother Benjamin, and today we also got Low on the channel, not really, talking about Andrew Wiggins becoming from a bust to an all-star. Let's get to it.
Back in December of 2014, the NBA community had the privilege to witness one of the greatest draft classes in the past 20 years. Players such as Zach LaVine, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic were all selected and poised to make some noise in the NBA, but none of those players were deemed worthy enough at the time to be selected with the first overall pick. That title went to a 6'7" swingman out of Kansas named Andrew Wiggins. Now, Wiggins before the draft had very high and lofty expectations, projected to be the next great volume scoring wingman, getting compared to players such as Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady, and thanks to his 7-foot wingspan, ridiculous bounce, and his Canadian ties, he even earned the nickname Maple Jordan.
I want to ask this before we move on stage. Going into that draft, how'd you feel about Andrew Wiggins?
It was cool. He was one of those guys, again, no slander, not projecting him to be him, but like Cade, where I thought he was cool, but everybody was like, nah, man, you're bugging. He's him. He's that guy. I was like, I'll pay attention to him. And then I just never got it, but I was just like, I see what you're talking about, and I see how I could be wrong. As Lo said, I'm not going to bore the viewers. 6'7", jumping out the gym, long-ass wingspan. Bro looked like he was destined for a lockdown defense. I was like, all right, I can see it. I got to see it to believe it, though.
Right. No, I was on the same boat. Like, when I watched him play, I'm like, I guess he has the skills. Because I was the opposite with Cat. When I was watching him in college, I didn't see it. Or maybe the same. Like, I didn't see his potential. And then he came into the league and just offensive beast. So I thought Wiggins was just going to be like that to me, too. Like, he was going to be a player that I don't really get. But once he gets into the league, I guess he's going to prove me wrong. Should have trusted my gut. I ain't going to lie.
Hey, I'm not going to lie, but before we unpause the joke, no cap. Hey, look, I'm not implying to be a good scout because I ain't see Cat coming. I could have bet my house Jahlil Okafor would have been crazy. I thought Jahlil was it. I was everywhere. Yo, it's coming back. The era centers is coming back. I promise you, Jahlil about to change this league. Man, I could have bet everything.
And to Wiggins' credit, early on in his career, he showed a lot of promise. At the end of his rookie campaign, he was named Rookie of the Year, and by the end of his third season, he was already averaging 24 points per game. Because of the improvements over the first 3 seasons, the Minnesota Timberwolves were prepared for Wiggins to take that final leap into NBA stardom entering his 4th season. Actually, they were so committed that they handed Wiggins a max contract during the 2017 offseason, which did nothing more but inflate the expectations even higher for the 22-year-old. And unfortunately, he missed the mark tremendously. Over the next couple of years, Andrew Wiggins was underwhelming to say the least. And with his max contract coming into effect during the 2018-2019 season, Wiggins quickly became one of the most overpaid players in the NBA. Minnesota eventually cut ties with their potential franchise star during the 2020 deadline as he was shipped to the Golden State Warriors. And this transaction was met with a lot of criticism on the side of Golden State. However, in the following season, a lot of things changed. Wiggins' production across the board became noticeably more efficient. He seemed extremely comfortable in a role where he was being featured alongside Steph Curry instead of trying to man an offense by himself. And now fast forward a few months later to where we are today, and honestly, I don't think too many people expected Andrew Wiggins to transform into the player that we see before our eyes, as he has not only transformed his game completely, so much so that he is a major contributor to a Warriors team that is on a historic run early on this season, but also I would go as far as to say that Wiggins has quickly changed the narrative around his name from an overrated, overpaid, inefficient volume scorer to a legitimate all-star.
I'll say this about Andrew Wiggins. There's some players in the league where it's kind of obvious they're best utilized as a first option. Wiggins was kind of the opposite, where like people were forcing him to be a first option, like to be a primary scorer. But when you watched him play and just looking at, just the player that he is, he was best utilized as a second option, as a third option, or more so as a third option, because we saw what he was as a second option. And he just wasn't in the right systems to be in that. Just an observation. And
here's how he's been able to do that. The first aspect in Wiggins' game that was addressed when he made the move to Golden State was his scoring. Throughout his first few years in the NBA, Wiggins was known as a volume scorer, quickly in his second year being able to break through the 20-point per game barrier, and after his 3rd season in the NBA, it seemed as if Wiggins was going to have several years in his career where he was going to be a 25-point per game scorer. But contrary to popular belief, Wiggins wasn't even doing this as great as many people originally believed. The biggest reason why I say that is because Wiggins was not an efficient scorer whatsoever. Within his time in Minnesota, Andrew Wiggins essentially was averaging 20 points per game, but unfortunately he had a true shooting percentage of roughly 52%, which was 3% below league average within that time frame. The biggest contributing factor to this unforgivable truth was the amount of mid-range shot attempts that Wiggins was committing to on a game-to-game basis. Now please do not get me confused for the hyper-analytic crowd, because I do understand the true value of a mid-range scorer, even if that shot is labeled as inefficient. But the problem with Wiggins wasn't just the amount of middies that he was attempting, it was also how accurate he was in the mid-range. On the screen right now, I have a simple infographic outlining what Wiggins was able to accomplish in a mid-range area on a year-to-year basis. Now the two columns that you really need to pay attention to is his field goal percentage and his frequency, because within his first 4 to
I'm sorry to pause it, but like, I know he's gonna talk about it, but bro, like a third of your shots being mid-ranges in an era that is literally shunning the shot. Like I said, I'm not hyper analytics either. No shit. Y'all think I don't know anything. But holy fuck, that is, dude, and he not even that good at it.
These look like 3-point percentages. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Yo, god damn, bro. 37 and a half with 37. 588 middies is crazy.
For 5 years in the NBA, essentially all of his time as a Minnesota Timberwolf, Andrew Wiggins on a year-to-year basis was shooting in the 30% range when it comes to his mid-range jumpers. And actually, outside of 2017, all of the rest of the seasons he was shooting south of 35%. Also, if you slide over to the frequency column, you can clearly see within his first 3 to 4 years in the NBA, mid-range shots took up roughly a third of his shot selection diet. Just think about how crazy those numbers are. And if you don't understand how crazy they are, let me put some context in this for you. If we were to categorize a high volume mid-range scorer as someone who's attempting 4 middies a game, and then rank all of those qualifying players by their field goal percentage in the mid-range area, where would Wiggins rank on a year-to-year basis?
Guess. Let's guess before he does it.
As he showed, I'm looking at Chris Paul, Kevin Durant. I'm probably throwing in guys like D-Book, DeRozan. Wiggs? I mean, D-Lo shot a lot. He probably below D-Lo too. Nets D-Lo probably had it. Damn, he might be last. He might dead be last. No. Nope. I mean, there's no way he was more efficient than CJ. He might be last.
Yeah, he might be last. I don't know the specific number, but compared to how much he's taking, I just know his numbers are going to be bad.
He might be ranked last. Like, we know how we fuck with Wiggs today, so y'all know I'm not just trying to kick the man, but T-Wolves Wiggs might be last, because I can't think of nobody right now.
Dang, who could be worse? For real.
Maybe a big man that sucked who was around at the time.
I guess so. I don't know. What the fuck?
Nah, he got to be last because it's 4 middies a game too. So it's somebody that we know shoots up. Yeah, nah, he got to be last. I ain't gonna lie, he got to be last.
Well, in the 2015 and 2016 seasons, Wiggins would rank dead last. In 2017, he would have the 3rd worst field goal percentage amongst qualifying players.
It's Zebo in 2017, like I was thinking.
Second worst, only in front of John Wall. And in 2019, again, he would have the 2nd worst field goal percentage in the mid-range area amongst qualifying players, only in front of Russell Westbrook.
How does Westbrook always find himself into like all of our videos, bro?
I wasn't gonna pause it because we had a vid on them, a card or something. But like, I was gonna pause for John Wall and be like, "Yo, why is he even here?" But whenever we're doing anything inefficient numbers, this man is, hey
guys, I'm right here.
He just has to show up, man. Damn it. We're not even looking for you this time, man. Damn.
Meaning that there is a very legitimate argument that within the first 4 to 5 years of Wiggins' career, he was undoubtedly the worst mid-range scorer in the NBA. Now, personally, I do believe that this outcome is a direct symptom of being compared to players such as Tracy McGrady and Kobe Bryant. Because instead of Wiggins in Minnesota allowing Andrew Wiggins to be Andrew Wiggins, he was mirroring some of the greatest shot makers of all time, which is easier said than done. And because of this, there was an immediate ceiling on what Andrew Wiggins could produce as an offensive piece to any team in the NBA.
I'm sorry, but like, I honestly just feel like even with Tatum, obviously he's not anything like T-Wolves Wiggs, but even with Tatum, people do the Kobe comparison with him, and now Benjamin as a witness. Get tired of seeing Tatum do the double pump, fade over somebody, take awful shots that you probably hear him screaming Kobe in his head. And it's just like, yo, you aren't even built like you should be playing like him. Not that you don't have greatness in you.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You were forcing it, bro.
You could love his potential and say he could be better than Kobe if you really want to fanboy index something. Cool, who cares? I've never seen Tatum being like a 6'7" Kobe, but hey, he wore the jersey one time and people compared him to Kobe one time, and now he has to be Kobe Bryant. That should really be fucking with players. It really do.
That's what I'm saying. He's not even 6'7". He's like 6'9", dude. But you got smooth ass handles. You know what I'm saying? You got the frame now. You got the speed, bro. Drive to the rim, dude.
Yeah, he's supposed to be one of the best finishers. Oh my god. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, like for real. He should be one of the best finishers in the league, but because of these expectations of now, he's one of the best shot makers, difficult shot makers in the league next Kobe. Now he, in his head, I gotta live up to that. No, bro. Take the efficient shot, bro. Stop playing. I promise you're gonna be happier with the fucking championship than being a failed Kobe. Like, come on.
However, when he made his transition to the Golden State Warriors, all of that changed. Again, going back to the infographic that I pointed out earlier, as you can clearly see within the last 3 years, his accuracy still hasn't been able to eclipse the 40% mark, but what's more important is the rate of frequency has dropped tremendously. And what has replaced those terrible mid-range shots, you may ask? Well, three-pointers. So far this season, Andrew Wiggins is attempting a career high on three-point shots, averaging a little bit more than 5 a game and converting them at a rate of 43%, which is very impressive, especially coming from a player who entered the NBA and even ended his tenure in Minnesota with his three-point shot being one of his biggest weaknesses in his offensive game. Because of the reduced Kobe imitation acts and the increase in three-point shooting, not only has Andrew Wiggins become a noticeably more efficient ball player, so far this season he has a true shooting percentage of nearly 59%, but also Wiggins is way more usable in an offense. So far this season on catch and shoot jump shots, Andrew Wiggins has an effective field goal percentage of 67.3%, and amongst qualifying candidates, players who have played 20 or more games and average at least 3 or more catch and shoot jump shots on a game-to-game basis, Wiggins ranks in the top 95 percentile, which easily makes him one of the most valuable catch and shoot players in the NBA. With this new wrinkle in his game, not only does it mean that Wiggins is more impactful when he's off ball, but even when he's interacting in certain offensive sets, the defense has to play him completely different with him being a legitimate three-point threat now. And to be transparent, of course, having a teammate like Draymond Green or Steph Curry will definitely aid you in many ways offensively. With the level of attention that Curry demands on and off ball and the playmaking from Draymond that we see on a night-to-night basis, Andrew Wiggins' new style of play fits perfectly with this roster as a second or third scoring option. Also, Wiggins still uses his ability to create his own shot from time to time.
Oh, yo, when will we ever see that Penny Hardaway move? Yo, Sage. First of all, shout out to Wiggins. Yo, if you're on Twitter a lot, literally every 3 days, yo, this Penny Hardaway move is crazy. When they ever gonna do this again? Oh, God. And every time, no fail, for surprise, yo, Wiggins does this every night.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Y'all think Nickel Wiggs is him, then so be it. I don't really care.
Nickel Wiggs.
I just don't care enough, man. Like, I fuck with bro, but why? Why is this on my timeline dead ass every 3 days? Why?
More specifically on step back jump shots, in which he's converting those at a 55% rate, which is incredibly impressive. And even when he doesn't make the shot, he consistently can create enough space for him to get a quality look. Because of all of these dynamics and level of efficiency, Wiggins is a bit better than the Harrison Barnes 2.0 role that many people placed upon him before the beginning of the season offensively. And on the other side of the floor, he's exceeding expectations even more. Defensively, due to his size, frame, and athleticism, Wiggins is perfect on the switch, especially on taller ball handlers. In the post, Wiggins doesn't give up that much position, and even when he does, he still makes it really difficult, again, due to his length on fadeaway jumpers. But what has Wiggins really excelled at is being a nightmare defensively for smaller guards. The speed and quickness that most smaller guards have to use to their advantage is nearly completely neutralized when Wiggins is defending them, and even when there are times when
this is what I thought he would be coming out.
He still stays as close as possible to the ball handler with great hustle and still comes up with a late contest. Also in pick and roll situations, Wiggins does a really good job at staying fundamentally sound, keeping his hand up in the passing lanes, and completely deterring the opposing ball handler from passing the ball to the rolling big man. Another way that he uses his length to his advantage is by blitzing the ball handler, especially when the pick is being set near the out of bounds line, and this even works against taller ball handlers. Now, to be completely clear here, I am not saying that Wiggins has been so great defensively that he should make an all-defensive team. The biggest problem with Wiggins is his consistency, especially in terms of maneuvering around pick and rolls. Wiggins just doesn't do that consistently enough to be an elite point of attack defender. And to be completely transparent, having someone like Draymond Green on your team would definitely make you look even better than you normally do. However, I have to give credit where credit is due. Wiggins defensively looks much better now than he did back in his Minnesota years, which was always a concern because someone with that level of frame, athleticism, lateral quickness.
I'm sorry, it just hit me. Has Harden fixed the patch? Like, is he good now? Is he straight? Has he learned how to play now? Is he good or is he still ass? Comment that below.
I think he's getting better.
I'm pretty sure he was getting better, but hey, I haven't paid attention in the last week to the Nets. I ain't gonna lie, except for when Kyrie came back. That was fun.
Has all of the physical tools and traits to be at best an above average defender, but unfortunately, that's just not how many people would categorize Wiggins back in Minnesota. And because of all of his improvements so far this season, I do believe that there is a legitimate argument that Wiggins should be an all-star this year. Because when you take into account that Wiggins is the second scoring option on the best team in the NBA, and defensively, I would easily argue he has been a noticeable positive for this team. And furthermore, when you look at the Western Conference, there's a lot of teams that are underperforming. 3 or 4 teams in a playoff picture are at best slightly above 500, and 2 frontcourt players in Anthony Davis and Paul George will more than likely miss a month of basketball. I do believe that it's pretty obvious that Wiggins should be at least taken into legitimate consideration to be an all-star, and in my opinion, at worst, regardless if he makes it or not, he certainly is playing at that level so far this year. And a lot of that just comes down to Andrew Wiggins being Andrew Wiggins, which I believe is a huge plight for a lot of young prospects coming into the NBA, trying to meet the standards that everybody else has placed upon them. But shout out to Andrew Wiggins and shout out to the Golden State Warriors for looking at him for who he is as a player, taking him on as a clean slate, and molding him into what best benefits not only his play, but also for what the Golden State Warriors need as a franchise. But hey, those are just my thoughts.
All right. Let's address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, let's get it out the way.
I didn't know if Lo was going to pivot. That's why I was waiting for it. A couple years ago, I specifically made a video calling Andrew Wiggins a bust. And the reason why I actually wanted to watch this video is just to have that discussion again, because clearly Andrew Wiggins is a much more valuable player now. I would say he's not trash. He's a good player. I would agree with Lo. He deserves all-star consideration. But does that mean he's not a bust? Now, let me just reiterate my points from those videos. Essentially, what I view as a bust is a player who falls so far from their expectations going into the draft. And like Lo outlined in this video, going into his draft, Andrew Wiggins was compared to the likes of Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady. First ballot Hall of Famers. Kobe Bryant is arguably a top 5 player of all time. A majority of people have him top 10 all time. Like 90% of people have him that. That was the standard for Andrew Wiggins. Whether fair or not, that was a standard for him. And what his career has panned out, what is it, 7-8 years in, is no all-star appearances. This might be his first all-star appearance. Definitely didn't live up to the T-Mac, Kobe Bryant comparisons, Maple Jordan comparisons. That's my definition. Because I view it as if LeBron James came into the league, had all the hype that he had, which was warranted going into the league because he was unproven. You can only make projections. But the talent's there, the potential's there. And if LeBron had a career of, let's say he makes 2 all-star appearances, 3 all-star appearances, compared to what he was supposed to be, I'm going to be disappointed personally. I don't know about you, Sage, but I'm going to be disappointed personally. So I would call that career a bust. Same thing with Andrew Wiggins. And I'm very happy for Andrew Wiggins that he's, again, found a place that works for him. I'm very happy for the adjustments he's made. I'm very happy for him, for real. Because I feel like a lot of people think because of that video, I'm just preying on his downfall and shit like this. No, I'm very, very, very happy for Andrew Wiggins. I don't want someone to just live their life just getting shitted on every single time. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be better. But with that being said, I still believe, personally, his whole career is still a bust.
I think that's pretty hard to argue against. I mean, as you said, if LeBron James had ended up being like Draymond or like DeMar right now, hell, let's say LeBron James was current DeMar DeRozan for his entire career, I'd consider him a bust. As great as DeMar DeRozan is, he's going to be an all-star or whatever, but it'd be like, you thought this was your chosen one. I would think, like, this was that guy that came into, and maybe current DeMar is a little bit of drag, because current DeMar is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I'm about to say, current DeMar is a little different. I ain't gonna lie.
Current DeMar is built the fuck different. Yes, sir. You get the point, though. Like, hypothetically, if he had the career of DeMar DeRozan, basically. I find that hard to really debate against. Now, there's a notion that people, whenever you hear the word bust, it's like, oh, you gotta be like Michael Carter Williams, Anthony Bennett. Like, a bust isn't somebody that just is so bad they're no longer in the league. Michael Beasley was a solid role player for some years. He's a bust, though. Doug McDermott, a solid shooter. He's more on the bust side, though. Everybody thought this motherfucker was gonna be averaging 20 by now. Dude might get you 10. Might get you 10, might hit 4 threes, and might get you 12. Like, it's cool. You don't have to be some superstar, and that's really the conversation that we need to have here. Not more so is Wiggins a bust. More so, can we stop comparing players to these all-time greats so we don't have to label someone's the word bust? Because at the end of the day, while people will still not like what I said, still not like what Biso said, hell, I guarantee Lowe would come out here and be like, yeah, he's still a bust, though. People won't like it because the word bust is such a wild-ass word to call an NBA player. Just let Wiggs be Wiggs rather than have Wiggs be Kobe. As we had that side cement, let Tatum be Tatum instead of trying to have Tatum be Kobe. Stop calling everybody that makes tough shots Kobe, by the way. It's kind of, you're wilding. But yeah, like every 6'6" point guard that's been drafted for the past 5 years is not LeBron James and not Magic Johnson. Like, chill out. Just chill. Let them come in. Let them play their style. Let them have their way. Hell, y'all thought Lonzo fucking sucked. And see, when you get out of those wild-ass comparisons, you get out of all those toxicity, chosen one, you got to save my franchise, and you don't have to hit the ground running immediately. Let the player develop. Went to Chicago. Now everybody loves up.
But at the same token, though, I don't blame people for having expectations, though. Like, I truly don't. You brought up Lonzo. I get it. The whole saving the franchise thing it's extreme. But I don't know, if you draft a guy that's like a 6'5" point guard and shoot the three, can pass it like Lonzo can, extremely versatile defender, I'd be pretty fucking hyped too. And I'd have high expectations just off of the potential I've seen from a player like that. I also don't want it to be a place where we can't have expectations. Like, bro, if I have a top 3 pick in the draft, I want to expect someone that has a potential, and I'm going to look for them to potentially really, really aid my franchise. I'm going to put a lot of stock in that player for a reason, a lot of assets into that player for a reason. So there's a middle ground. The truth is always in the middle.
It's hard because you don't want to count a player out too early. It's like you don't want to count a player out too early, but at the same time, you don't want to falsely believe in somebody. So let's look at Wiggs and Lonzo together. On one end, you don't want to keep Wiggs as your number one volume shooter and keep shooting those mid-ranges, bro. You see how even though he's shooting less, he's still not hitting 40% of his middies. You don't want to just spam that for 8 straight years, and now you're fucked because you really spent damn near a decade believing in Wiggs as a number one. Simultaneously, you don't want to give up on Lonzo after his 2 seasons, bro. It is definitely a middle ground. That's probably the reason why shit's not going to change no matter what I say or you say. Because finding that middle ground is definitely a hard thing to do.
Like Imani Bates. NBA draft hasn't even happened, and already motherfuckers are making his Imani Bates a bust video. Like, dang, he couldn't even go through the fucking college ranks? Fuck.
There's no way. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because it's crazy, not because I know it. There's no way people are saying Imani Bates is a bust.
Well, because you know how he was in middle school and shit, like next Kevin Durant, like type shit. So now here he is. I don't really know the full situation that much, and maybe we can react to it. Let us know in the comment section. But apparently, there's a chance he might not even be drafted in the next draft.
Oh, fuck. I weren't even here. Damn. Yeah, by the way, that high disclaimer, I'm a college casual.
I am too.
You can bid me on college. I don't know shit.
But shout out to Lo for the video. Link in the description for Lo's video. Watch this video right here. I don't know. Just watch it, bro. Just watch it, man. Support the channel.
Yeah, just watch the damn video. Hit the red button, bro. Please.